Hey guys, and welcome to how to paint blue-white on a Hulang Shocktrooper for Yu Jing in Infinity. Okay, so we're going to be doing some blue-white today and on this little guy, and I think it'll be a fun one. You know, I've done a few others in Infinity in the range there for Yu Jing in the past, and I thought we'd do some, some specific hobby tips sort of videos on some of the different aspects of the scheme that I've done. So this one will be on blue-white. We'll do some more in this vein in the future, but I thought this one would be a great one to start with. I really like this guy. He's got a really fun sort of design, like the little studs on his head and all that sort of thing. It's a cool one. So yeah, he should be fun to do, and we've got enough armor here to work with to build up some nice blue whites. So you've got some pale blue whites there and white and so on that we'll use to do this one. And I think it'll be a bit of fun and a good way, a good variant on doing white. So you don't always have to do it with grays. You can do it with blues, etc. There's a number of ways to do it. So yeah, we're going to try blue white today and see how we go. All right, let's get started. Okay, so to start with, we've got our colors set out in front of us, and we've got the night blue there, and then the blue gray, the pale blue, the pale grey blue, and the white, and we've got our little mix there of white mixed with the pale grey at the end. We're going to start with that night blue as our base, and just paint the areas where on the armor where we want them to be white. So I've done the forearms there, the shoulders, and the helmet. So I'm just painting that night blue on as a way to sort of shift from the black. So you've got like the darkest shadow will be a dark blue, and this just helps with the blue-white theme and keeping it, you know, in that realm of color. But you can leave it black if you wanted to, but here we're going to do it with that base of dark blue. So once we've got a nice good coverage on that, then we move into the real beginnings of this white armor. So we've got that blue gray there, and the first thing you want to do is just do a nice base coat. So you probably do maybe 2 coats here. You just go around and paint all the panels, leaving the night blue, the dark blue in all the creases, so you get that nice separation there for each of the panels on the armor. Just paint that base color down until you've got a nice coverage, and then once you're happy with that, then we move into the real layering step. So this is that pale blue there. Now the beauty of this is we don't really need to mix here. We've got a nice gradient of color going up, so that's nice. And now you're doing the same thing, but this time you're going to hit, as you'll see me do it, not the entire panel. So you're going to sort of you're going to fade out a bit of that darker blue-gray color in some of those areas around edges and around where the armor turns, and you see a bit of a shadow, and you'll see me just fade it in and feather it with the edge of the brush. So you're getting these little fades of dark color there alongside that main layer color of the pale blue, and you're just going around and hitting all those areas, imagining the light coming from above and hitting the surface, doing the lines across the main panel lines there, etc., until you're happy with the result. And you've got a little bit of definition between those 2 colors. And so then once we're happy with that, then we move into our main highlight step. So here we're looking at again, hitting those edges, probably moving down a brush here, and again, paying attention to these little fades, these little micro areas of shadow to light. And so you'll see it across the top of the forearm there on that panel. I'm sort of fading a dark color into a light color. So I'm hitting the top line where the light would hit, around the edges, etc., and moving around like that. On the shoulder pad, the same thing again, a little bit of darkness there around those center points and the light on the edges. So using that pale grey blue as the highlight just to hit those edges and keep a nice sharp line, again imagining the light coming from above. On the face, again around the front of the face there, around the skull and that sort of thing. So then once we've got that sorted out and it's looking nice, now you should start to really see the definition. And now we're getting to those final stages of real bright highlights. So now we've got that pale grey blue mixed with white, and so it's about a 50-50 mix there. And now you're using a fine detail brush here, and you just want to hit those edges, just the line edges, line highlighting around those edges across the front line of that on the panels where the light is hitting. So you have that fine line around the front of the face, that sort of thing, on the shoulder pad across the top edge, all of those sorts of areas to really bring out the brightness in that white armor and make it really stand out. And then once you're happy with that coverage and focusing mostly around the top facing surfaces, poses. Then we move into our final step, which I like to do all the time, is a spot highlight. And so the spot highlight is just more white mixed in. And now all you're doing, as the name suggests, is just using a fine detail brush and hitting those really fine points where the lines come together, where the panels meet into a point. So on the edges of the armor, you know, some of the points around the face, across the forehead, that sort of thing, and across the top of the shoulder pad, you know, the little fine points there. And what you're trying to do is create a sort of a bright point map as you go from the arm up onto the shoulder and around to the face, and it draws your attention and draws your eye towards those features and brings you into that focal point, which is around the face. And you should end up with a really nice pattern of that, and end up with some really nice blue-white armor. And there we go, some blue-white armor on a Hulang Shocktrooper. Let's take a look. So yeah, this guy is really cool, and the white armor really suits him. So yeah, I'm really happy to be doing this one. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's only a short video, but it gets to the point, right? So you can see how to build up the white on the armor, and you know, it just gives you a variant to the normal maybe gray white that you would normally do, like neutral colors, that sort of thing. You can do it with the blues and get a different result, especially if you're combining it with something like the blue greens here, which you know echo the color into one another and give you a nice harmonious kind of finish, as this one does. You know, I'm a fan of that. You know, you'll see a lot of blue greens on the channel, you know, contrasted against with the reds and so on. It works well with the blacks, but you can use that blue white on many different schemes, not just this one. I'm sure it'll work really well on Space Marines or any other type of sci-fi character. It'll work pretty well. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. I'll leave a nice image for him at the end, as I normally do, but I hope you enjoyed this. Please hit the like button, subscribe button, it really helps me out, and I guess I'll catch you on the next one.